All right, so get ready because we are diving deep today into some fascinating stuff about Mother Teresa.
Yeah, that's gonna be good.
You guys specifically requested Mother Teresa's teachings,
Right.
not just her work with the poor, but her actual teachings and how she thought about spirituality and
Or
faith.
spirituality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we have something really special for this deep dive.
We do.
We have an excerpt of Mother Teresa's personal reflections on faith.
Wow.
Let me tell you, it is packed with surprises,
It's true. This is not like a typical how to be a saint book.
right?
This is like Mother Teresa unplugged.
Yeah.
Just sharing her raw personal insights into faith and spirituality and how she saw it.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and it's so rare.
It feels like you're getting a peek behind the curtain. And one of the things that really struck me when reading through this was how important action was to her spirituality.
Oh, absolutely.
This wasn't about, holing up in a convent and contemplating life.
Right.
This was about getting your hands dirty and getting out there.
It's like what some people call these days like embodied spirituality.
Uh,
The idea that our physical actions, our interactions with the world around us are not separate from our spiritual side.
yeah.
If anything, they're like a direct line to something bigger than ourselves.
And she really put this into practice.
Oh, she did.
It's amazing. She encouraged the nuns under her care to leave the convent and engage with the world.
Get out there.
Yeah. She believed that true spiritual strength wasn't about hiding away from everything, but running towards it.
It really challenges the traditional image, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like the saint doesn't have to be, hidden away somewhere to find enlightenment.
Right.
Mother Teresa, she found some of her most powerful moments of connection with God, not in quiet meditation,
Yeah.
but in the thick of it all,
Mm-hmm.
caring for people, being present in the messy reality of their needs.
Absolutely. And this is where it gets even more interesting.
Okay.
Mother Teresa was kind of wary of overthinking faith.
Really?
She felt like true understanding wasn't just an intellectual thing,
Mm-hmm.
It was a matter of the heart.
That makes a lot of sense when you think about it.
Yeah.
So many spiritual traditions emphasize experience over just racking your brain about theology.
Right.
It's not to say that, intellectual exploration of these things is bad,
Right.
but it's about connecting to something deeper.
Exactly.
Something beyond words.
Like she said that some of her most profound moments with the divine were not during prayer or meditation,
Mhm.
but while she was actively caring for someone.
Wow.
It wasn't about thinking about love in the abstract. It was about being love,
Yeah.
in action.
Powerful stuff.
In that moment. Yeah.
It's like by intellectualizing it too much, we might actually create a barrier between ourselves and that connection we crave.
Yeah.
But Mother Teresa was all about breaking down those barriers,
Totally.
experiencing the divine through compassion, through tangible help.
Yeah. And speaking of breaking down barriers, that makes me think about her approach to forgiveness.
Okay.
It was radical.
I was so
She didn't see it as this one-time thing.
like, okay, I forgive you, moving on.
Yeah, exactly. It's a constant state of being.
Yeah.
A daily practice of letting go of resentment and choosing love over and over again.
It's such an important distinction to make because it's easy to think about forgiveness as this big, grand gesture.
Totally.
But real forgiveness, the kind that brings you true peace, often requires letting go of the need to understand why you were hurt in the first place.
Right.
It's about cultivating compassion for yourself and for others, even when it's hard, even when you don't feel like it.
And I love this analogy she used.
Okay.
She said, forgiveness is like a journey.
Okay.
And sometimes you have to take a detour around an obstacle
Which is?
that hurt that resentment
Okay.
instead of trying to bulldoze your way through it.
Because holding on to that anger and resentment just weighs us down. It's
Yeah.
like dragging extra baggage on your journey. Forgiveness, even when it feels impossible, is about making the conscious choice to travel lighter.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's funny, for someone so often seen as this pillar of strength, Mother Teresa was actually really open about needing help herself.
That's interesting.
She talked about receiving help, not as something to be ashamed of, but like a crucial part of anyone's spiritual journey.
It really makes you think about the depth of her humility.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a woman who dedicated her life to serving others, radiated so much strength and compassion, and even she recognized she needed guidance,
Totally.
Needed to lean on other people sometimes.
We all do.
We all do.
And she actually shared this really interesting story about her friendship with Pope John Paul II.
Oh, wow.
Like, imagine those two
Yeah.
amidst all the demands of their roles.
Right.
they found time to support each other's spiritual growth.
That's really special.
Isn't that kind of heartwarming?
Yeah, it really highlights that even spiritual giants like Mother Teresa need those connections.
Yeah.
We need those people on the path with us.
Yeah.
We often think about spirituality as the solitary pursuit, but she's reminding us that asking for help, allowing ourselves to be vulnerable with other people, it's a sign of strength, not weakness.
Yeah. It's like we need those people in our lives who can give us a hand when we stumble.
Absolutely.
Those friends who can kind of remind us of our own inner light when we've forgotten it's there.
Absolutely. And, sometimes those people who step up to help might surprise us.
Yeah.
It might not be who we expect, but, they appear at just the right moment. Mother Teresa's story encourages us to be open to receiving support from maybe those unexpected places and to be ready to offer it freely to others as well.
So there's another one of Mother Teresa's ideas that I found super intriguing. And she talked about devotion as a state of being,
Okay.
not just a set of actions,
Yeah.
not like checking things off a to-do list,
Right.
but this continuous inner connection
Yeah.
to something greater than ourselves.
It reminds me of this idea of practicing the presence.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just about those designated moments of prayer or meditation.
Right.
It's about how do we carry that inner connection with us throughout our day,
Yeah,
even when things get hectic.
totally.
How do we stay grounded in that sense of peace and purpose no matter what's going on around us?
I love that because it like reframes the whole concept of devotion, doesn't it?
It totally does.
It's not about going through the motions, but embodying it.
Embodying it.
That sense of connection, that sense of love and peace.
In every aspect of our lives.
Yeah, and she says it so beautifully, like, quote, "The world, when it tries to understand divine qualities, it limits itself. Devotion is a state like joy, like bliss, a state of the being."
Powerful, right?
Yeah,
She's challenging us to expand our understanding of what it means to be devoted.
right.
It's not just about, doing the right things. It's about cultivating that inner connection so deeply that it becomes a fundamental part of who we are,
Yeah.
our default setting, a state of being, rather than just doing.
It's amazing when you think about it. All of these like lesser known parts of Mother Teresa's teachings, they really add another layer to her whole legacy. Like we always focus on the outward stuff.
Right, the actions.
Yeah, her service to others. But this really shows us the inner transformation that like fueled everything.
It wasn't just about what she did, but about the perspective she brought to everything.
Yeah.
Every interaction. Recognizing that, even the everyday moments we have, they hold the potential for something sacred.
Totally.
For encountering the divine in those unexpected places.
And what I find so inspiring is how accessible she makes spirituality seem.
Yeah.
It's not about these like, grand gestures or like complicated rituals. It's about those simple acts of love, forgiveness being present.
Yeah, just being present.
Things we can all strive for.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that spirituality doesn't have to be this big, intimidating thing, you know?
Yeah.
It can be as simple as showing up with an open heart, ready to, serve, to connect to love.
Right.
And those small actions, those shifts in perspective, they have the power to make a real difference.
Yeah, before we wrap up, I want to go back to something Mother Teresa said that really stuck with me, that idea of devotion as this state of being,
Okay.
this inner connection we can tap into,
Yeah.
no matter what's happening around us.
It's always there.
It really makes you think.
It does if we see it that way.
Yeah.
If we view devotion as a state of being, not just a checklist of things to do,
Right.
it raises a big question.
Yeah.
How can we cultivate that connection more in our own lives?
Right. How do we maintain that sense of peace and love and presence, even on the really tough days?
That's the question, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And
And-
maybe Mother Teresa's words and her life can help us find our own answers
I think so.
as we walk our own paths.
I think by embracing her message of compassion and forgiveness and this, unwavering devotion to something bigger than ourselves, we can each find our own way to a more meaningful and connected life.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
And on that note, we'll leave you with that thought,
Yeah.
that invitation to really explore these ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us for this incredible deep dive into the unexpected teachings of Mother Teresa.
Yeah, this was amazing.
Until next time, keep seeking, keep questioning, and keep diving deep.